First scripture is 1 Samuel chapter 17, verses 6 through 15. Now, how many times in your life have you met a teenager who wants to do things their own way? Raise your hands. There you go. Do some exercises. Well, I know personally that I like to do things my own way because I know how things want to be done in my vision. Even for my parents, I do laundry all the time and all these other good chores, and they want to do it their way. But sometimes I like to do it my way. Now, for David and Goliath, David wanted to do things his way and not put on the armor. Actually, who knows the story of David and Goliath here? Anybody? One person? Two people? Okay, that's sad. Shame on you. Well, if you don't, I'll have to teach it to you then. See, we have two main people. We have David and Goliath, obviously. And first, we need a little background history on what happened. You see, David and Goliath come from two different, I'd say clans or something. But they were having a war at the time. The Philistines is where Goliath is from, and the Israelites is where David was from. Now, they had two hills that they kind of camped at, and they were right beside each other, so they had a war there. And now on the Philistine side, they'd all line up, and there'd be all the warriors and stuff, and there'd be really 9-foot-tall Goliath. And it says here in the Bible, it says that on his legs he wore these ginormous bronze little shin guards and stuff, and he had two ginormous bronze javelins that would slung to his back. And on his spear shaft was like a weaver's rod, and it weighed like 15 pounds. It's massive, right? No, it's not. Yeah, it's massive. He could stab a whole bunch of people with that. So he was just this ginormous great warrior that the Philistines had. They'd never lose, with this guy on his side. Now on the other side, the Israelites, they had people. Not as great people though, but they had David. Now one day, David was watching his sheep in a sheepyard far away, and his father, King Saul, told him, "Hey, go bring some food to the people who were fighting in the war." And he said, "Okay." So he brought some food over, and as he was coming over to the battlefield, he noticed that Goliath was shouting at the Israelites, saying, "Your God sucks. Psh, my God rules." And he's like, "What?" "Oh no, girlfriend, I'm going down." So he went to the king and said, "You know what? This guy's making a fool out of our God. I think I'm going to teach him a lesson." And the king's like, "Whoa, dude, you're like 15. You can't do nothing to this guy. He's 9 foot tall, whole bunch of armor. You little shepherd boy with your little staff and sheep can do nothing." But David, as all teenagers were, persisted. They always get their way. I know I do. David went up to the king and finally got his way. And you know what he said to the king? Well, the king said to him, "You know what, since you're gonna need some help, here's my armor and my ginormous sword." And his armor was the best. It's the king's armor. It's an honor to wear that stuff. But David put it on and he said, "You know what? This doesn't feel like me. This doesn't seem right. I'm not really used to this." And he said, "I'm taking it off." And he did. And the king was like, "What?" Didn't know what to say. He was like, "Well, it's your funeral." So he gets back his staff and his little sling. He goes down to a river and finds 5 smooth stones, puts them in his little satchel. And then he walks onto the battlefield. And I can just imagine in my mind, there's all the Philistines just lined up in a row, and up there is Goliath, just standing up there And then comes out this little kingdom, this little boy. And I can imagine all the guys start just laughing, crack up laughing, especially Goliath. And then he starts hurling insults towards David. And he's like, "You know what? You can say all you want. My Lord rules, and I'm going to prove it." He takes out one of his stones, puts it in his sling, right into his skull, and knocks out the best. This little boy knocks out the best of the best. The greatest, tallest guy in the world, KOs him. One hit with one little stone. Everyone just starts running away. All the guys on the other side were like, "Ah!" Start running away. Now, I can tell that David was really pumped by God to do that because, well, he was really religious back then too because he's David. And I feel that sometimes in my life, I feel that I can take down giants like that too. David was himself. He took off the armor because he didn't want to be that way. It didn't feel right to him. He did things his way. And so now I say to you people, so come as you are, and you can slay any giant that comes in your life.